Smiles all around today. Equipment's working good. The crop is looking good. Hard not to smile on a day like that. Check out this crop. This is a triticale barley blend. 70% Stampeder triticale and 30% AB producer, I believe, barley. This is the field in the last video with Brian Palachuk from DSV North Star that said give it another week. Well, it's been 7 days. So we're here, we're cutting it down. We got a big decision to make now. Should we put this up as silage bales? The crop is so nice and it's so clean as far as weed pressure. There's the odd thistle around the headlands, but it's such a clean crop that maybe we should put it up as dry green feed. We got to figure that out in the next 24 hours because probably in about 36 hours we'd be silaging this into a silage bale. So anyways, good problems to have. Let's just hope it doesn't rain in excess because, well, it has been this year. So anyways, why don't you guys tell us in the comments, what would you do? Throw it up as green feed or silage bales? It's sure a nice crop. Actually, in regard to that comment, the barley that's in here is a smooth on barley. So there won't be any issues with cattle ingesting it as a dry product, and the triticale is a reduced on. So the really long ons that you're seeing here are the barley, but they're smooth, so that won't affect livestock. The triticale has a reduced on, so, and it almost feels smooth. I know they can't call it that, but it is a quarter the size of the on as the barley, and it's almost smooth on the triticale. So like, that's what these varieties are for, and that's why they make these varieties, is so that you have feed options. Some of the rough on barley, like you couldn't put that up as green feed and feed it to a cow without, you know, it getting abscessed in its cheeks and throat. Anyways, let's get back to it. Can't stop smiling. It's always nice to see the fruits of some labor. I know all the other farmers out there watching probably get that, but when it comes to harvesting a crop, you've put all this time, effort, money, stress, just general effort into growing something, make something happen, and just to be able to cut it, have something to cut, let alone it be of decent quality. Hashtag farmer satisfied. And just everything's working real well today. So just excited to be at work and finally being putting up some hay and silage. What a year. Farmer thing. I'm not sure if I'm the only one that does it, but we're cutting on a 45-degree angle here today for a few reasons. Obviously, we don't always want to drive in the same tire tracks. However, we farm on hillsides, so we got to be very strategic with which direction of travel we go. If this field gets put up as dry green feed, the bales are going to run away on us. It's going to be difficult. Silage, they can definitely roll away as well. Problem with silage is if they roll really at all, they wreck the plastic. So yeah, a couple different scenarios there, but obviously we want to keep people safe and our equipment safe, but also want to keep the material, the bales, the fences, the silage, or the wrap, whatever it is, want to keep everything safe. So yeah, we're going to try something a little different this year and go on a different angle that we've never done before. You know what, it might actually help if this field ends up going for dry green feed. It might actually help hold the swath up a little bit better. Now that we have a 6.5-inch spacing drill versus our 7.5-inch spacing drill, the stubble, we've noticed, actually helps keep the crop up a little bit better in the swath. So hopefully, you know, going on a contradicting angle to the direction that it was seeded will help hold that up a bit better too. So yeah, just a few things we're working on to just always improve and always get better. But I know GPS can tell us we're at 50 acres cut now of a 80-acre field, you know, and we're past the vortex. So once you're past the vortex of the field, it's exciting because it's only getting smaller and you're almost done. You're past the hump. It's like a Wednesday. Once you're past Wednesday, you're past the hump day. It's almost weekend again. But farmers don't have weekends, so I guess that one doesn't apply to us. Wow, if we ever had to slow down, the crop is heavy on this hill. For some reason, the higher we get on the hill, the crop is getting better. I don't understand that. It's always better on the lower side, but a little bit of a saddle going up the hill here, it is heavy. I've had to slow down to 9 kilometers an hour. I've been cutting at 11 to 12 kilometers an hour all morning. We're at 55 acres, and obviously I'm on a bit more of a hill here. The saddle also starts to climb, so a little bit more crop and a little bit more hill. Sure notice the power. Can't complain. 9 to 10 kilometers an hour, 28 feet wide, while we're conditioning a heavy crop like that. Nope, still can't complain, still smiling. Until I gotta pay the fuel bill. So, just to kind of circle back to that why we're smiling today thing is, well, there's a million reasons to smile. One of which is our new air filtration system, I guess you'd call it, from Redicop, that we have designed a snorkel system to and attached to this tractor. We're going to be doing it to each of the fast tracks, but we just started with this one because this one's doing most of our cutting at the moment, and the cutting's where we have most of the chaff. We've got cooler air going into the motor, more power allegedly, right? Colder air into a motor, it's going to breathe better, less restriction because our air filter is not plugged. So I'm going to just consider this a win. We're going to be outfitting all of our fast tracks with these Redicop pre-cleaners. We just had to adapt them to the tractor, and we're a few hundred acres into cutting hay, and I have not yet had to replace my air filter. Usually I'm replacing them a couple times a week. So just very excited that this thing's working. We've been dreaming of this pre-cleaner system and a way to retrofit it and work them on fast tracks for over a year. So just to see a small side project like that come to fruition and it work great, smiles all around. We're almost halfway. Well, now we're almost done. We are crushing the acres here today, even having to drive up and down the hill. Still been carrying a pretty good ground speed, doing 10K an hour right now. However, some of you might be saying, well, why'd you do so many headlands, David? We usually only do 3 with the triple mowers, so 3 all the way around. Today, and in scenarios where we are cutting on an angle versus north, south, east, west kind of thing, straight lines, when we do angles, it takes a lot more room to turn around the rotary rake, even though the rake has rear steer. On a high yielding field where you have a lot of bales on the headlands and you're turning on an angle, because this field we've cut on a 45, we need a little more room on the headlands. So in this application this year, we did 4 headland passes versus 3. So as you saw in our last video with Brian Palachuk, the barley is in the, can you see this little kernel? It is in the mid to hard dough. Well, I'll call it mid dough on the barley. Brian, as well as ourselves, were thinking last week the triticale, which makes up 30 or 70% of the stand, needed a little bit more time. So as you can see, last week's video, we didn't have hardly any milk in this triticale, and now we are in really early, really soft dough, if not late milk. The kernels will still pop a little bit like a pimple, as you can see. You know, it's really late milk. So perfect time to be cutting these 2 species, whether it's for dry green feed or for silage. Now that we've actually started cutting here today and seeing the quality of the field, cleanliness of the field, we're thinking we might actually sell this as a dry product in green feed. Put it up with the new Krone Varipack V190. So anyways, got a few more acres here to cut. Just wanted to show you the crop stage and how 1 week, actually 8 days to be specific, since the day we filmed this with Brian Palachuk till today, makes a difference. Now we've got some formation filling in the heads. The barley's a little bit ahead of the trit, but let's harvest this. Like that, first field of silage or Greenfeed is cut. For the first time, we're actually doing hay and silage season at the same time. That's what Mother Nature gave us. So you guys are along for a big ride, and so are we. So thanks guys for watching, and lots more forage harvesting content coming up. Stay tuned guys, thanks for watching.